Notice he's telling the root of David that he's a descendant of Solomon. I'm going to say it again slow. Notice he's telling the root of David that he's a descendant of Solomon, even though everyone know the root comes first. Haile Selassie the first.
You are descended, Your Imperial Majesty, from King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba.
You heard him? He's literally telling them, you are a descendant of Solomon and Sheba. Did Haile Selassie say yes? Or?
This is just our story, ancient story. The Queen of Sheba, to visit Solomon, King Solomon. She met one son. She returned back to her country. Our story says since that time we son from King Solomon comes.
You see, the story is what's saying that he's a descendant from Solomon. But in reality, he's not a descendant of Solomon. He's the root of David. In other words, he's also named David.
Haile Selassie comes from a line that traditionally sprang from the admiring visit of Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, to King Solomon. She, an Arabian queen, went to Jerusalem.
Notice he disregarded everything Haile Selassie I just said, and now giving you a story, and has the nerve to say that Sheba is an Arabian queen.
Jerusalem to test the wisdom of Solomon, who is said to be the wisest of the kings of Israel, about 950 years before Christ.
950 years before Christ in their terms means 3,000 years ago. And that's the same time with Moses. A lot of us know the story of Solomon and Sheba, but few of us know that there are stories of Moses and Sheba. For Moses is also named Solomon.
In the scriptures, the book of 2 Chronicles tells that King Solomon gave to the Queen of Sheba all her desire. The traditional story holds that Menelik, son of their romance, went to the state of Aksum, which is...
Again, Haile Selassie, I said, is simply an ancient Ethiopian story. It's not based on facts. It's just a story. But this guy is continuing the dialogue as if the story is real.
Sheba, or Shoa, as it is called today, and which is the main province of Ethiopia, and became the first Ethiopian emperor. This for the Ethiopian Amharic Christians who came originally from Arabia.
It is not what he just said. It's Ethiopian Orthodox Christians. He's trying to imply that Queen Sheba is Arabian, and they learned it from Egypt.
India is the beginning of their royal line. From Menelik, most late rulers of
Haile Selassie is the line of the longest monarchy in the world. In other words, Ethiopia has the oldest monarchy in the world. So why would this guy even think it comes from Arabia when everyone knows Ethiopia has the oldest monarchy in the world?
Ethiopia, including Haile Selassie, have claimed descent.
You are the 334th in the line of succession. And the 134th of the Christian kings.
Notice how clear in English Haile Selassie I said yes when he said you are the 300th, right? Continue.
Including Haile Selassie, have claimed descent.
You are the 334th in the line of succession.
Yes, exactly. Proper English.
And the 134th of the Christian kings. Christianity came to Ethiopia, I believe, in 330 AD.
Right? You see how he cut him off? Let's continue. Notice Haile Selassie did not say and did not agree with him. He's basically giving their version. He's basically trying to say that Ethiopia learned Christianity from somewhere else, and then it came into Ethiopia in the 3rd century or the 4th century Common Era, however you would like to place it. When in fact Haile Selassie did not agree with what he just said.
The book of Acts of the Apostles in the New Testament mentions the story of the first convert to Christianity.
That's their version. Notice he's referring to the King James Version. So he's basically saying the King James Version, this is what happened.
Was the Ethiopian eunuch, who was the courtier of Candace, Queen of Ethiopia. He had been up to worship at Jerusalem, and on his
Also notice that he's talking over Haile Selassie's answer, because Haile Selassie's answer probably didn't add up to whatever he's saying.
way home, driving along in his chariot and reading the prophet Isaiah, met the apostle Philip, who preached to him about Christ, the Son of God. And when the eunuch believed, Philip baptized him in the water, and the eunuch went on his way home rejoicing. This, according to the Bible, is the first Ethiopian to be converted to Christianity.
This is according to the King James Version, which was written 1200 years after the original tongues. All Bibles are translated out of the original tongues, which was written by God in an Ethiopian language called Ge'ez in the 4th century. And it told us to look forward to the coming of Christ. In other words, Christ wasn't here 2,000 years ago. Egypt didn't have churches 2,000 years ago. Everyone knows that Ethiopia has the oldest Christian kingdom in the world. Everyone knows that Ethiopian churches predates any other church. There weren't churches in Rome 2,000 years ago.
The story is found in the book of Acts, chapter 8, verses 26 to 39. Ethiopia has been a Christian country since the 4th century. In the year 341 AD, a certain Frumentius, on a journey from Tyre with his brother, was captured at an Ethiopian port and sent to King Izana at Aksum. The two young men won the confidence of the king and began to evangelize the country.
Notice that's their version. They're trying to say this is how it happened. Even though Haile Selassie already said,
Later, Frumentius went to Alexandria, where he was consecrated by Athanasius the Great, Patriarch of Alexandria and writer of the Creed, to be the first bishop of Ethiopia.
again, they're trying to give credit of Ethiopia onto Egypt, as if Egypt is the one who started Christianity, as if Egypt is known for being Christians. This is so hilarious. They also try to imply that Egypt has the oldest church in the world, which is hilarious. Approximately the same time Cleopatra was there. So in other words, they're trying to say Cleopatra was a Christian.
Since then, Ethiopia remained a province of the Coptic Church of Alexandria, which always consecrated an Egyptian monk as archbishop, or abuna, of this independent church, and sent him away to Ethiopia. Since 1959, and after a struggle for self-independence, the Archbishopric of Ethiopia was raised to a patriarchate by His Holiness Pope Kyrillos of Alexandria and Patriarch of the See of St. Mark, who retains a primacy of honor in Ethiopia. The Coptic Church, and consequently the Ethiopian Church,
Notice he said the Coptic Church, then consequently the Ethiopian Church. Again, he's trying to imply that Ethiopia learned Christianity from Egypt, even though the Bible clearly says, woe unto Egypt. Leave Egypt and their ways. Even the first 3 plagues that will hit Egypt will come from the highlands of Ethiopia. In other words, they're not the same. And if you read the book Blacks Before America, it will state that Egypt was referred to as the granddaughter of Ethiopia, and Egyptians were referred to as disobedient Ethiopians. In other words,
Haile Selassie was born on July 24th, 1891, and
lies. In other words, they lie, and they lie and they lie. It's July 23rd, 1892. Notice he's going to say 1891 on July 24th. So he's not even giving you his proper rebirth.
Haile Selassie was born on July 24th, 1891, and was named Ras Tafari Makonnen. His father was a viceroy to the throne and had his son privately tutored in French at the age of 6. At 18, shortly after his father died, he became governor of the province. In 1928, he led the troops that killed Empress Zovitu's husband, who was not of royal blood, and became regent. He became emperor on November 2nd, 1930, and was crowned Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, King of Zion, conquering lion of the seed of Judah, power of the Trinity.
So now you know who the King of Zion is. The King of Zion is Haile Selassie I.